Sorry for not uploading coin content. I promised July 14th, but I was a little too lazy. And I'm going to make one today. But don't worry, I'll still do some of my other content. Like my Patrick Get Squidward video. If you haven't watched that yet, go watch it. It's pretty funny. Yeah, look, I'm going to be looking at Morgan dollars that sold for very good money. Now, I don't have an intro yet, but I'm going to make one probably around coin collecting episode 3, I guess. Let's just hop right into this one. If my internet isn't slow. Alright, starting off first with an 1882 Morgan dollar. Now, this one is a high grade at a mint state 68 plus. Very nice detail. Has a little bit of toning, natural toning, I guess. Now, if I look at the value view of that one, you can see that it sold for over $110,000. What would you guys do with 110 grand? Oh my goodness, that's a lot. That's a lot of money. Now here's an 1881S that is at a mint state 69. Now this is the nicest Morgan dollar I've ever seen. It's very flawless, only a couple of marks right there. They're only visible upon close inspection. I don't see any other flaws. The front looks perfect. And if you guys don't know, the mint mark on your Morgan dollars will be right below the eagle and the feathers, and these right here. Now this one. Now, if I look at the value view, this one sold for over $150,000. $150,000, guys. What would you do with that much? What would you do with $150,000? I don't know. Now here's a 1901 double. Now here's the 1901 double die reverse. If I can stop stopping myself. Anyways, got the 1901 double die reverse. Now let me show you. Point to the mark. Let me show you the markers. You want to look for doubling on the bottom of the feathers, right on that middle arrow, right below these feathers too, across those lines, and also across these leaves here. Now, this is the 1901 no mint mark, which means it was minted in Philadelphia. Now this one's graded at a mint state 62. That is where most of its value is gonna come from. That high grade. Now if I go here, it's at a 62 plus, and that one sold for over $75,000. 75 grand. Oh boy. No, I don't want to scroll down. Now, if we look at that same exact coin, got the same double die reverse, except this one's only graded at a very fine 30. So, see that the edges aren't worn or anything, but some of the higher details are. Medium and high details are rubbed off with a couple of scratches like right on her cheek. Now Now this coin is still going to sell for some decent money at that grade, and that coin still sold for over $800. So you're not going to make a fortune off of one that is in bad shape, but it's still going to be selling for pretty decent money. Now here's an 1878. Here's an 1878 ATF. Now this one has some beautiful toning on the back and the front. All the blues, just whoa, that's some natural toning. I don't think anyone played with the chemicals and got some odd colors, but I think on this one it was just natural toning on a silver Morgan dollar from 1878. Now this one's graded at a mint state 67. And yeah, I don't see any double dyes or anything that they missed. This is the PCGS. All of these will be PCGS graded. Oh, gotta go back. Now the value feel on that one, it's graded at a 67, and that coin's, yeah, let's say 67. That coin sold for over $70,000. $70,000. Now here's a picture about how many feathers your coin has, if it's able to load. Now count the tail feathers on this one. Let's count together. On this one you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tail feathers. So 8 tail feathers. You got 7.5 tail feathers. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you also see double parts of the feathers there. That's the 7.5 tail feathers. Now 7 tail feathers you got right here. You can only count 7. On the first one you can count 8. On that one, on the right you can count 7. Now let me photo grade. Now let me show you the photo grade and then the price guide. Actually, no, not the price guide. I'm gonna do that in another video actually. So we got 8. Now here's an 1880 over with the 8 with the 0 over the 9. Now I can't even see it. But let me take a look at the markers. You can see that 9 there. Yeah, remnants of that 9. Yes, that's a real 9. What that was there. I know it's hard to see, but it is there. Now if we go back to this coin, how in the world I still don't see the 9? Where's the 9? I don't know. Now I'm gonna go on this, see this one. This one's much easier to see because I can still see remnants of the 9 there. Now let me go to the value view. That one's graded at a 68. The highest graded one. And this coin sold for over $13,000. Almost sold for almost $14,000. For its exact price that it sold for is $13,500. So the grades are important. If you have a coin in bad condition, it's not gonna be worth anything. Now here are some other coins that are worth money. I'm going to go to the wheat pennies here. The 1914 D is a key date almost 2 million, almost 2 million minted, less than 5 million minted. It's a key date that is sought after by collectors. Now this one's graded at a mint state 66 brown. I love the toning on this penny. Yeah, it's a 66 brown. Now that coin sold for over $11,000. Now if we take a look at that same exact coin, except it's a 66 red, you can clearly see that D mint mark there. The D mint mark on your wheat pennies is going to be right below the date. Now that coin sold for over $185,000. Now take a look at the price gap between 66 and a 66 plus. That's a huge price gap. Just had to mention that here. Now here's a 1917 double die offers. Now you can see it. Now let me show you the markers. You can see the doubling on the date 1917 and the motto, "In God We Trust." And you can only see the doubling on the right side of the on the areas where they're on the right side of the coin that has lettering. You can't really see it on the words "Liberty" and "In God." It's definitely visible on the words "We Trust" and the date 1917 itself. Yeah, obviously you can really see it there on that 7. Not so much on that 1 though. That 9 looks pretty suspicious too. Now if we go to the value view, that was a 67 red. That coin sold for over $135,000. Wow, what an amazing coin. Now here's a 1955 double die offers. Now this one is extreme doubling. You can see it everywhere on the lettering on the front of the coin. You can literally see it there on the word "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and also obviously on the date. The date is the most doubled part of the coin. Now on this coin you don't need. Now this coin you can obviously see doubling from a distance. If you have really good eyesight, then you don't need a microscope for this one. Now that coin was a 64 plus. That coin sold for $5,250. Man, what a good coin. Another famous double die on the 1936 wheat penny. You can clearly see it there on the. You can see it there on the date 1936 itself, along with the word "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." And the doubling is just everywhere. Let me zoom in on the marker. 1936, you can see it there. You can really see it there on the 6. Not so much on the 3. You can see it on the 1, the 9, the 6. Yeah, like I said, not so much on the 3. You can see only a little piece of doubling there. I guess you can say. Now, you can also see it there on the motto, "In God We Trust," and also on the motto, "Liberty." Now that's a Mint State 63 Brown. Now that coin sold for $1,900, although the highest auction is actually $2,300. Now I'm gonna take a. Actually, no. Now here's that same exact coin, except it's in bad shape. Except it's in worse shape than the last one. You can barely tell the double die. You can't see doubling on the 3 at all. You can see it there on the 6, the 9, and the 1. Also, "In God We Trust," you can still tell it's doubled. And also on the model Liberty. Not so much on the Liberty though, except for that Y. Now at that grade, it only sold for $130. Man. If you happen to find one. Now in 19 Now all of us obviously know that in 1943 they were supposed to make steel pennies. However, if you take a look at this coin, you can see how it's a 1943 that was struck onto a copper planchet. Now, a bronze planchet. Now you can see this one's graded at a Mint 63 red, although I don't see why it's at that grade. Now that coin sold for over $1 million. $1 million. Now let me show you the D mint mark. Okay, maybe red brown. Nope. So I have to show you a brown example. Oh, so we got this one here, 1943 Denver, that was struck on a bronze planchet. Now that coin sold for over $1,150,000. If you happen to find a 1943 copper penny or the D and the mint from any mint, whether it's the Denver Mint, the Philadelphia Mint, or the San Francisco Mint, like I'm about to show you right now, a good condition one. You can clearly see that it's made out of copper. You don't need a microscope to see that one. Now the San Francisco mint mark sold for over $1 million. If you find one in San Francisco at an AU55, that's a $275,000 coin. If you found one at an AU58, that means that your example is at $350,000. But if you are at Mint State 63 Brown, you're in luck for the 1943 S, because that coin sold for over $1 million. Oh boy, that's an expensive coin there. Now, in 1944, they were supposed to go back to copper coins, but you can see how this coin is struck onto a steel planchet now. its mintage is unknown, but judging by the grading, by the amount of grades this coin has, I'm gonna say around like maybe 50. But you can see how this is a steel penny from 1944, but that's not supposed to look like that. It is not supposed to look like that. Now let me bring you to the value view. That coin sold for over $185,000. Wait, because the Now let me show you one more. Actually, now let's go to the buffalo nickels, actually. Photo grade buffalo nickels real quick. Now I don't have any buffalo nickels near as nice as these uncircumcised or A. I have a couple of AUs in my personal collection, but and I also have my fair share of dateless buffalo nickels. But we're not going to take a look at the dateless buffalo nickels today. Sorry, dateless buffalo nickels. We're going to take a look at buffalo nickels that have a date, that has a date on it. Now let's take a look at this 1916 buffalo nickel. Now that looks like doubling. You can see it on his chin and also on the date 1916 itself. You can most visibly see it on the date, actually. 1916. But I'm not gonna consider that doubling. So I figure out if any other buffalo nickels have that. Now you can see that the back is normal. No double dies on the back. Now that one sold for over $275,000. Now let me show you one that is in much worse shape. This is still the same exact coin, 1916 DDO. Now DDO is stands for double die offers, if you don't know that already. 1916 double die offers, you can still see it there. You can see how it says 5 cents there. Somebody tried to fix that one, but they failed. No, that one. Oh. Now that one's still sold for over $10,000. Now here's the 1914 over 1913 date. So it's an over date. You can see the remnants of the 3 there. Right there. Here's the close-up of the over date. Now that's an over date. Now this one has some beautiful toning on it. Still the 1914 over date. That's an over date. Now that one's sold for over $75,000.